that time of year where college graduates will start building their new lives, and that can often mean moving to a new city as well as new financial responsibility. Joining us now with more on how grads can avoid becoming victim of scams is Simone with the Better Business Bureau. Simone, good morning to you. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
So what are you seeing, in terms of scams specifically targeting new graduates?
Well, I mean, a lot of times when students are leaving school, they're going through a transition. They might have student loans, they might have debt. And so the first type of scam that we're seeing targeting this group is people reaching out, claiming to help provide debt relief solutions. And some of them might be legitimate companies, but they're not giving them enough information about the impact to their credit. It might be a little misrepresentation. And then they're also collecting significant fees. That's on the legitimate side. On the illegitimate side, I mean, they're reaching out and basically just looking for your information. And so, obviously that information, like your social insurance number and all those pieces, can be used for identity theft. And so that's not a good way to start your future.
So what are some of the common ways that this scam is showing up? I mean, like, how is it being received by potential victims?
Well, like any type of scam, we're hearing about advertisements, so they can be a little bit more targeted. A twist or a different version of it is where you actually receive an unsolicited email or phone call reaching out to you. And an even worse example is when grads are getting notification that there's a problem with their last payment, and now that they're being threatened that if they don't pay that last payment, they're going to actually lose their diploma. And obviously that's not true, but when they click forward, what they're being told is that if they don't pay, usually by Bitcoin or wire transfer, there's a risk to them. Now, obviously right there, if you hear someone say to you, pay money, pay now, or you're going to lose something, and also by wire transfer or Bitcoin, there's something wrong. So don't do it. The government's never going to reach out to you that way. And neither are the schools.
It seems that, people at this age are particularly vulnerable because it might be the first time that they're having to pay their own bills.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going through a whole bunch of life changes, right? I mean, for the first time, they might be moving across country. For the first time, they may be, finding their first accommodation by themselves. And so that's all these different opportunities to be exposed to scams that most of us have maybe already seen. I mean, our number one scam for 18 to 24, and we call that the riskiest scam, was employment scams, right? Where you think you're getting a legitimate job opportunity, and really it's not a legitimate job opportunity. It's either an attempt to get your personal information, or they give you a fishy check, you deposit it, you think you're okay, and then they ask you to send some money. They disguise that money being sent to you as for some office supplies or a computer, and you're supposed to send them money. And of course, that check bounces and you're out of pocket.
Yeah.
So these are terrible things for a new grad trying to set up their life.
Definitely. And you mentioned, often new grads moving to a new city, so they're also hitting those rental scams as well.
Yeah.
I guess just, what's the advice that you would offer to new graduates, maybe their parents, in terms of the conversations they should be having right now about stopping these before they begin?
I would encourage parents to play a role of, advisor, and I'd encourage students to think, before you make any decision, do your research. For example, in an employment scam, just as they're interviewing you, you should be interviewing them. You should be looking on their website. You should be making sure that they are indeed hiring. If you're thinking of hiring a moving company, don't just go with the cheapest. Come to the Better Business Bureau. We have a great group of accredited businesses who have been vetted by the organization, but do your research and make sure that you're not going to become a victim of someone, for example, where the movers don't even show up and you've paid them a cash deposit. So lots of things out there, but make sure you're doing your research.
All right. Really important information. Simone, thanks so much.